Hello YouTube, welcome back to another unboxing video. I'm shifting gears now. Previously, the majority of content on this channel has been about watches, and I am still crazy about watches. In fact, wristwatch check, I'm wearing my Apple Watch Ultra 2, which I recently acquired about 2 months ago. I really enjoyed this watch, but I have not yet made the watch review video yet. But on to a new chapter. I have recently built up a passion of pens, and this is my first pen video for this channel. And so even though I've acquired a couple pens since the last time I created a video, I decided that I would start my pen videos by doing an unboxing. And so I'm very excited to share this unboxing of this pen with you guys. And so let's go ahead and begin. Now, I ordered this pen from AliExpress, and so of course that means that this product was shipped to me from China. And so I have been anticipating and looking forward to this watch for, this pen for, gosh, I think I might have waited about, it might have taken 2 weeks to get here, which is not bad considering that it was free shipping. All right, so as we can see here, a very basic way to ship this pen. Basically came in that package you just saw, and here's some bubble wrap. And so just as I'm opening this, I'll mention that this is called the Wingsung 630. It is a Chinese pen that is, I'll just say, a homage pen to a very famous pen, which I'm sure you'll be able to guess which one it is if you're into pens. All right, more packaging to remove. It looks like we see some Chinese script here. I'm assuming that's Chinese. I'm actually not well versed in the Chinese language. All right, again, a lot of words here that I don't know how to read. Okay, let's go ahead and continue unboxing and opening this up. There we have it, there's the pen. Let's see what else comes in here. A little bit of information. June L, or from what I understand, this stands for, I think, Junlai, which is another name for Wingsung. It looks like they've supplied a little bit of silicone grease, which is useful for maintaining this pen, because this pen fills with ink using a piston mechanism, and the silicone grease helps to keep it from leaking. So that will be useful. That's very kind of the company to supply that. Of course, that substance is readily available in stores here in America as well, such as Home Depot. So Junlai, super quality. Doesn't really, I don't think it says much on here. Of course, I can't really read it. Looks like they're explaining the different parts to the pen and how to fill it with ink. That's what I understand from here. Okay, on to the pen. All right, you might have guessed it, but this pen resembles a Mont Blanc Meisterstück 149. This is the first time I'm holding this pen in my hands, and I've actually never held a Mont Blanc 149 in my hands before. I have held a 146, but I will say this pen does arrive kind of dusty, and I can't tell if these little marks, it looks like these little marks are not scratches from what I can tell, but let's go ahead and try our best to just lightly polish it a bit, seeing if I can buff out or polish out any kind of markings on it. So this is, you know, how it arrives brand new, so I expect for it to be in completely new condition. I will say that even just looking at this resin, and I can't tell how much gets captured on the camera, but it's almost like you can see these fine little markings on it that looks like it does not polish out. So it might have been from storage in a box or on a shelf or something. Although I will say the way it was packaged, you'd assume that this would not be developing scratches. Clip feels a little bit kind of wobbly or cheap. Looking closely, and again, I'm trying my best to get it in focus, but it says here, Junlai 630, made in Shanghai. That's what I expected it was going to say. I will say overall, this pen looks pretty good in terms of quality. I like when pens come brand new, they should look new. They shouldn't look like they've had any kind of wear on it. I don't think this is wear from usage because, well, I can't tell you for sure, but it looks more like the kind of wear I received that was on one of my pens, the one of the other pens I received, the Jinhao X159, which also, even though it was shipped from Amazon and not directly from China, it also had similar wear on it too. So, but again, kind of keeping in mind the price of this pen, it's hard to complain. I paid about $26 total. And so, anyways, let's go ahead and take a little bit closer look at this pen. So, it has a twist cap. So twisting it, let's see. Let's go ahead and kind of compare. So, how many turns does it take to take the cap off? That's one full turn. And then, looks like about 1.5 turns. And there we can see the pen uncapped. I like the look. It has a very classic look to it. It has a ink window, and I don't see any liquid or bubbles inside this ink window, so it truly looks like it has been unused or brand new. I like the way it fits in my hand. It seems like it's a good size. It is, of course, a pen with a somewhat thick barrel and thick grip, which is nice. Looking at the nib of the pen, and let's see if we can get it. How can we get this in focus? I guess I'll kind of keep it at somewhat of a distance. I'll have to get better at making these pen videos for you guys, but let me see. So, taking a look at the nib, it says Wing or Wings. It's hard to tell. It's written really small. 1947. So obviously the design has been inspired by the Mont Blanc 149 in terms of this is a steel nib. This is not gold, although it is gold plated, and it does have some silver steel color as well on it. This is considered to be a fine nib, although the measurements they provide is between 0.5 and 0.7 millimeters in diameter, which basically means that it is kind of in between a fine and a medium nib. Of course, that's just based on measurements they provide. I have yet to ink it up and try it. So you might see these cups here. I have these cups here because it is good practice to flush your pen before you actually ink it up and use it for the first time. That helps to rinse out any kind of glue residue and any kind of material that might be in the nib and might affect its use. I like to rinse it out the first time so that way I can get a good feel and an idea about how this pen is going to write during the lifetime of its use. And so, again, I'm so excited to write with it that I keep putting it in my hand ready to write, but we need to get this pen prepped. So I like the fact that it doesn't take that many turns to unscrew it, unlike my Jinhao, which takes almost 3 turns. This one takes about 1.5. The feed looks good, but pretty standard. Okay, I'm not sure what this white marking is on it, as you can see. So, it feels pretty light in the hand. And let's go ahead and get this prepped. So I'm gonna put this cap over here. And as you can see, it's a piston filling mechanism. So what that means is that you twist the top of this, and you can probably see in the ink window that as I'm twisting it, that the stopper kind of goes down and depresses. And then when I twist it back up again, that comes back up to suck up the ink. So we're gonna first rinse it with a little bit of soapy water. So I have soapy water here, and then I have just regular distilled water, and then I have a cup here filled with a paper towel to kind of pull out some of the water that's going to be in the nib when I'm done rinsing it. And then I have my ink bottle here. My ink that I'm going to be filling today is Waterman Mysterious Blue ink. I really like this ink a lot. I love the color of the ink when I write with it, and I like the fact that it is a very wet writing, or a very watery type of ink, which is great. It suits my style. So let's go ahead and put this here, and let's begin by rinsing out the pen. So again, first I'm going to dip it into this soapy water mixture. It's just basically 1 drop of soapy water into, so basically one drop of dish soap, and then I put in distilled water as well. And so the purpose of this, just repeating myself, is to prep the pen and to remove any glue residue or any material that is in the nib that would make it not write as smooth. So I'm just basically drawing this soapy water mixture into the pen by twisting the end, and then I'm going ahead and releasing it too. So, and I apologize, it's hard for me to get what I'm doing under a good focus because I'm truly using both hands to do this, so please forgive me. So I'm going to do this about 5 times or so. I think that's a pretty reasonable amount to go ahead and do this. So we'll just do it one more time. I didn't actually keep count, but that's about 5 times. So let's go ahead and do that. So now I have emptied the soapy water mixture out of the pen. Now I'm going to basically rinse it with the distilled water, just plain water. And again, this is just to rinse, so that way there's no soap still inside the pen ink reservoir. And that's because, of course, soap will interact with the ink that I'm about to put in the pen. So again, I really like how this mechanism turns. It just turns really easily, really smoothly, but also it's got a very well-built or solid mechanism. As you can see here, when I expose this area, it seems to be some type of a brass or a metal material, which of course means that it will be more sturdy than if the mechanism was made of plastic or some other kind of less sturdy material. So that's good. That increases the value or the expected longevity of this pen. It's not an expensive pen, but it's a pen that I really like the look of this, the classic look of this pen. As you can see, when I was just putting it in my hand, it seems like it sizes well, and so I'm hoping that this pen will last me a while as I use it at work or journaling at home or doing Sudoku or some of the other things that I've recently gotten into for hobbies. That white line that we had seen on the feed actually has gone away, which makes me think it was some type of a dust or some type of a glue or something. So I'm actually glad that I did this rinsing, because it looks like I've at least cleaned the nib and really gotten it so that it'll hopefully perform a little bit better. So I've done that at least 5 times now, probably more. And so now I'm gonna put it in this last cup. It's literally just a paper towel, as you can see. And so by capillary action, that paper towel is going to be pulling out the water that has gotten into the feed and the nib. And so usually we can leave it in there for a couple minutes. Honestly, the longer you keep it in the paper towel, the more water and basically the more water is going to come out of that nib. And other things that you can do, of course, you can kind of basically dry off the feed. You're basically trying to get as much water as you can out of the nib, and that's just so that way it will write better. Less water will be diluting the ink. It will basically get inked up and writing a lot quicker. So that looks good. All right, I think that looks good. And obviously, if people want to be really perfect with this, they can leave this even there for an hour or a couple hours for the purposes of showing you this video. And in all realisticness, that's probably enough in general for that. So let's go ahead and make a little bit of room. I'm going to move these cups out of the way. that way I can show you with a little more detail and hopefully better focus filling the pen with ink. So let's go ahead and set this over here. And as you can see again, Waterman Mysterious Blue. I'm gonna go ahead and open it, and we are ready to fill it with ink. I'm so excited to ink this up. Give it a try. Of course, before I bought this pen and as I was waiting for it to come in the mail, I watched a lot of review videos, but this is my very own Wingsung or Junlai 630. Okay, I've basically gotten the stopper down all the way. I'm gonna dip it into the ink and then I'm gonna turn it to suck up ink into the barrel. So let's go ahead and do that. So into the ink it goes, twist it. And then to get the best fill, I'm gonna go ahead and push out the ink I just sucked in, and hopefully it's pushing out some air as well. And now I'm going to pull it up to get a good fill. Very good. Now, for good practice and to avoid leaking and burping of ink, I'm going to actually release about 3 drops back into the container. 1, 2, 3. Now I'm gonna turn this up and then I'm gonna close it again. Uh-oh, am I doing that right? Okay, there we go. Got it all closed, and I got a little bit of ink on my hand, but don't panic, anybody. This is just part of the experience. Wipe off the nib, clean up the pen. I accidentally got a little bit more ink out. That's okay. Basically cleaning any excess ink off of the feed. All right, that looks good. Okay, good. Pen is inked up. And again, because this has an ink window, although it's opaque at this point because it's full of ink. So let's put the cap back on it. Let's cap everything. Let's go ahead and cap up the ink so we don't have any ink spills. Let's move this to the side. And are we ready for our first write? Let's see how it writes. I have my Rhodia notebook here. This is Rhodia 80-gram paper. And it's, I don't know the exact category size, but it's 21 by 29.7 centimeters, so just kind of giving you an idea of proportions. Let's go ahead and just pull out open to any page, and we're going to be ready to do the first write. Again, untwisting it now, this is what it will feel like to untwist and open up the pen ready to write. So here's the first write. This is the Wingsung 630. And this is with a fine nib. I will say it writes smooth, and I like how much ink it's putting out. And they basically measured this at about 0.5 to 0.7 millimeters in size. And then the ink is Waterman. And this is the Mysterious Blue. I like how it writes. I like how it feels. I like how it looks. Obviously, I thought a lot about this pen before I bought it, but I'm glad that so far it's pleasing to write with. We'll just do the usual line that everybody writes. The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. I like this pen. I like it because the ink flow is wet, meaning it's easy to write with. It does not have any skipping, or the ink doesn't stop flowing, basically. I like the line width. I would categorize this as somewhere between a fine and a medium, although maybe closer to fine than medium. I really like the build. It feels like a good type of plastic. I don't really mind as much those little marks that we'd seen, although I will say, I'm not noticing it as much now. Maybe indeed those were just little dust particles or something, or it's still there. And so it's a little bit more forgiving on a black pen, and also because the price of the pen was not very expensive. I really love this classic look. The nib looks really nice. I like the decoration and the detail. I like the build quality, and I guess I'm just a sucker for classic looking pens. But it feels good. I'm looking forward to writing more with this pen and then hopefully reviewing it for you guys soon. So as you can see, my watch channel has progressed to become a headphone channel and now also a pen channel. This is my first pen video. If you like this video, please hit the like button and please subscribe to my channel. Now I'm hoping that I can appeal to people who have my same interest in watches, in pens, and headphones, and gadgets. I'm very happy to share this with you guys, and I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you so much.